as Jason started with, which is the free lifetime tech support. It's a thing, you guys, and it's not Monday through Friday. And Jason, I make TOSAs and tech directors crazy all over the world by saying, I'll probably answer you faster than your own people. So like Elnora, if you've got a thing that's driving you nuts, send me an email. And I do all platforms, Apple, Google, Microsoft. And if I can't fix it, I have a giant friend network. And I'm just going to tell you, if you're a coach, if you're a tech coach or an administrator, I'm very purposeful about doing the free lifetime tech support. One thing that will really surprise you guys is hardly anybody ever actually asks for help. Jason, did you hit record? I'm just making sure, or am I doing that?
I did it. It's recorded.
Okay, just good. Okay, so the reason, if you're a coach or an administrator, the reason I tell everybody free lifetime tech support is because it makes them feel empowered. They're like, oh, if it all goes bad, Jon will be here to help. So that's our first little free gift. jcorippo@gmail is my email address. If you do nothing else for the whole session, write that down. And then the second one, Jason, you uncorked this one. If anybody's coming to Yosemite or wants to come to Yosemite, or you've never been to Yosemite, I have an Airbnb at my house. And we have a huge swimming pool. We're on 10 acres. If you want to go to Yosemite, I will set you up so it got the perfect trip. And if it works out, I can barbecue for you when you get back in the evening. So again, just putting my audience at ease, Jason. That's the whole idea, is making people happy. Barbara Craig, where did you grow up? Don't tell me. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Right. I was the assistant soup up there for a while. So yeah.
You know what Kathy's Valley is?
I know exactly where Kathy's Valley is. That's where my internet comes from.
Yeah.
I've been down to the charter school. I know Barbara Epler. I mean, Barbara Epler,
Judy.
all those.
Judy Epler, yeah.
Judy Epler. Yes, all those people. Those are my people. So anyways, yeah, that's awesome. So you escaped Mariposa successfully and you've gone on to be successful. Awesome. Fun fact for people that are wondering about Barbara and I's geeking out, when you're the assistant superintendent of Mariposa County office, Jason, you have to go up to the Ahwahnee once a month to meet with the park rangers. It was horrible. It was so bad. So anyways, enough with the preliminaries. Also, you guys, this is a nice, concise group. I didn't know if there was going to be like 100 of us or 40 of us. With this size of a group, how do you guys feel about an early release day? Because I can be done a little early. Does that sound okay too? All right, cool. And then the next thing is, I am going to give you all the slides at the end. The slides will include a full 4 days pre-planned for your first 4 days of school, plus a drag and drop planner that we can either do together or you can give to your folks to do. And I'll get you into the theory of all of this in a second. But again, I want to kind of have the long-term roadmap. My guess is, I'm going to guess this in the and then if like Andrea and Gloria that are not on video, let me know in the chat. Are all of you guys like, how many of you are classroom teachers, or can I assume that most of you are like APs, principals, directors, TOSAs, somewhere in the Jason zone? SAI, okay, cool. This is great for SAI, by the way. This is magic for SAI. Okay, so we do have some just regular classroom folks, because I will change my verbiage a little bit depending on who's here. So that's great. So I'm going to assume a mixed audience in terms of levels and in terms of what you're professing to kids. Now, here's my first slide. And again, I'm going to give you guys the slides. If you love taking notes, go ahead and take notes if that's your jam. And Gloria, this totally works in kindergarten. And you guys, I'm pretty good at Zooming. So anything you're wondering about, hit me in the chat. I'll adjust as I go. But check this out right here. This is my friend, Myra. And I'm pretty sure she teaches up in Canada. Look how much stuff she's gotten in her first 3 or 4 days of school. In fact, here's her agenda for the whole first week. Look how simple that is. Look how concise that is. Sketch and Tell is a magical paper-based EduProtocol that you can use for science and social studies and reading comprehension. Fast and Curious is our way of using tools like GimKit and WordWall.net and 99 Math. Thin slides you can do on paper or digitally. It's literally one picture, one word. But in a Smart Start model, guess how we do it? We do this. put a picture of a food you wish other people would stop eating. Teenagers go a little crazy with this. They love it. They were ready to tell you stuff. She's got a little activity called How to Email a Teacher. And then things that rock, I'm going to teach you guys about in a few minutes, where kids get up and move around in the classroom to get to know each other. Worst presentation ever. And here's my logic on worst preso ever. If the presentation is going to be bad, let's be good at being bad. It's super fun and super delicious. And then the good old Freyer model, invented by Dorothy Freyer in the late 60s. It's one of the best models ever for teaching vocabulary. So look at how cool this is. She's got all these packages knocked out the first week of school. Guess what the second week of school is going to be? It's going to be the exact same stuff, except with content. So I'm going to pause for a second. Does that make sense? The first week, we're going to do low cognitive stuff like foods and bands and shoes and athletes. And we're going to teach kids how to do these things pedagogically and get to know them. Week 2, right into the content. And then I'm being mindful of, let's see, GA Gloria. Feel free to ask for kindergarten clarifications on this. But I will tell you that my co-author, Marlena Hebern, also from Mariposa, Barbara, she taught up there for 20 years. Marlena has 2 decades in first grade, and we assure you that these will work across the full spectrum. So any thoughts so far? Yeah, Jason, connect with your kids first, right? Get to know them as people, and then leverage that for the next 35 weeks, as opposed to, and you guys, I've done this. I was a full-blown, look at this. I got my Harry Wong book right here. I was a full-on Harry Wong teacher. You know, don't smile till Christmas. You're their boss, not their friend. And I woke up my 3rd or 4th year of school going, I got kids that I still haven't talked to, and it's September. And I thought, this is really not okay, right? So here's part of our thinking. In most of business and life, you want the biggest possible results in the least possible effort, right? Any business, they want to sell the most and do the least. This is also my weekends. I want my wife to think I'm done with my chores, but I want to be done with my chores by 11. So I have 2 coffees and I go up tempo. Now I have the whole rest of the day off. In education, we tend to do the same thing every year. And I'm going to throw some cliches out, you guys, and I'm not trying to shame or be judgmental, but this is the cliche of what school is for kids. Let's spend an hour on our Get to Know Me poster. Tell me I'm wrong. Hey guys, can you be quiet for an hour and do your acrostic poem while I'm putting all your names into Google Classroom? That's an hour, you guys. We spend a lot of time that first week having kids really do kind of busy work. So the idea of protocols and the Smart Start is, if you always do what you've always done, you're always going to get what you've always got, right? So the idea is you're looking at things in a new, different way. And then also just for teachers in general. I have a friend who's a general. He wasn't a general when I met him, but it's kind of cool. I have a general friend. He gave me this saying about 12 years ago: pain is inevitable. You guys, teaching is a physically exhausting job. I can't fix that. It is draining. Tell me I'm wrong. It is draining to answer 43 questions a minute for 7 hours a day. I can't fix that. That's the job. So it's always going to be a hard job. Where we mess up, though, is we turn it into suffering. And what I mean by that is grading papers on the weekend, grading papers after school, doing my report cards all day Saturday instead of going wine tasting with my friends, all those kinds of things. So what we want to show you, and again, we're teachers. It's a hard job. It's like an unsolvable 90 square Rubik's Cube. It wears you down, but there doesn't have to be suffering. There can be joy in the journey, and you can experience a lot of love with the kids by doing a different approach. So this is our phrasing. We call it Smart Start with EduProtocols. And I'm going to tell you just a little bit of a story here. This is the Navy SEALs. These are actually Navy SEALs running on the beach down at Coronado. That's where their home base is. If you've ever been to Coronado, that's where the home is. Watch this. First, we teach them to walk correctly. Folks, Navy SEALs are the top 5% of only the top 5% even apply. and only something like 40% of the top 40 get accepted. So you're talking about a very elite group. Did you know most of the Navy SEALs have a PhD? These are very, very smart, very, very fit people. And what does the Navy SEALs say? We teach them to walk correctly. That's what they do for the first few hours. This is how you walk correctly. Then they teach them how to run correctly. And they teach them how to run the most mechanically efficient possible way, even though that they're these elite athletes and brain and super smart people. But then watch this part. Then we run faster every day. And that's what I really try to bring to my class with the Smart Start. I'm going to try to baseline everything. I'm going to try to get right from the beginning, and then every day a little faster. And just think about the math. If you get 0.1% faster every day in 180 days, that is a lot of percents. Jason, I don't know if you can help me in the math with that, but 0.1% faster times 100, you're talking about massive growth. But you got to go into that growth mindset. The other one that I kind of already mentioned was we got to get that Maslow thing going. It needs to be a safe place to learn and create and laugh and fail before I can move them up on Bloom's taxonomy. You got to do that. And here's another example that I've been using for about 10 or 12 years. Let's invert the Blooms. Normally Bloom's is that pyramid, right? Let's take remembering and put that at the last. Let's take understanding and put that towards the end. Let's start with creating. So starting with, can you make a, and then seeing how that works, and then trading that skill into other skills. It's actually super easy. That's my favorite part. So what we're going to do with a Smart Start, Barbara, just for fun, and Elnora, do you start on a Monday or do you start on a Wednesday? What day of the week do you start this year? What's your first day of school?
On a Wednesday.
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 Okay, tell me I'm wrong. Teachers at 8 o'clock at night who are just finishing their decorating their room, they're like, we start on Wednesday. What am I even supposed to get done this week? Right?
Yes.
Because in our teacher brain, we build 5-day packages. So when you give me a 3-day package, I see it as broken. Here's what I see though. I see a magical 3 days. If you start on Wednesday, a magical 3 days of getting to know kids and training them on skills that allow them to bloom for the other 34 weeks. So I'm seeing it as an opportunity to onboard people, not a broken academic week. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now, if you are one of the people at my wife's school district, I think they're starting on Monday. Guess what teachers are still going to say? What am I supposed to do in 5 days? It's the first 3 days are throwaway, and then it's Wednesday. I'm just going to embrace those 5 days. And on Friday, I'll start transitioning to the academic work next week. So I'm going to use that Friday for a preview of what we're doing next week. So like, I'm not going to wait till Monday to give out the Latin roots or the new math. I'm going to start that on Friday. That way, when we come back Monday, it's already the second rep. So that's kind of the little philosophy change there. Let's not see the first 2 or 3, because you guys, I got this all the way through college. First day of class, you tell me I'm wrong. The teacher's going to hand out the syllabus. It's going to be boring. They're going to tell stories about when they're in the military or how they're a triathlon runner or some crazy junk like that to fill the other 43 minutes. And then they're going to go, the real work starts Monday. Why are we blowing off a whole day? We can start with the real work right away. So this is another way to look at it philosophically, and we'll get into some of the real content here in about 3 slides. Okay, I see teachers start 2 ways. I see a lot of this in K-5. Fun start. There's not much academics, but there's a lot of fun. Color this, color that, cut out this, cut out that. Do a all about me poster, do an acrostic poem. It's a lot of just stuff to keep kids busy because the teacher's making their packets or they're doing their classes. They want the kids to be working so that they can do other stuff. Then I see the other end of the spectrum. This is more popular in like grades 8 through 12. Look at me, no moving, don't raise your hands. We're doing the syllabus, and then we're going to do chapter 1, go. And many of you will have an F by Friday. So those are both ends of that spectrum. We think Smart Start fits nicely in the middle. We're going to do fun activities that are also academic. We think we can hit both of those marks. We're also not going to do any one-timers. Like, the All About Me poster, I don't mean to throw it under the bus, but it doesn't have any long-term academic use. Is it handy to get to know kids? Yeah, except guess what? They did an All About Me poster last year. So big deal, right? We can do something like a Frayer model where you interview 2 kids in your class. Now you're building community and doing a fun thing with a Frayer model, okay? And at the same time, I can leverage that Frayer next week when we start doing math. So that's kind of our logic for this stuff. And then I got a little testimonial from a friend here. This is Ariana. This is the about the 4th week of her 2nd year. I trusted the process and I'm reaping the benefits. My teacher heart is so happy with where my students are and where they're headed because of smart starting them and sticking to the reps. It's everything I envisioned when I was in my credential program. Not many people get to use those words in a sentence. It's everything I envisioned. No, as a first-year teacher, I spent a lot of time getting my vision oriented to what my reality was. So a great little testimonial from Ariana. Now, I'm going to give you guys these slides. Ooh, I need to rearrange them a little bit here. Hold on. There we go. So I've spent a few hours here building you a first 2 to 4 day planner. So I'm going to give you a couple of highlights and then we'll work our way through the planner. So this is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay. So I'm going to do Smart Start Culture EduProtocol, Smart Start Culture EduProtocol, culture, and then, there's one academic one, and then there's a second academic one. If you're a self-contained teacher, like say Gloria, you might pick 3 or 4 that are fun and 1 or 2 like math reps that get them started. And then watch what happens. We're going to do the same protocol the rest of the week. Now, if you're Barbara and Elnora, you just erase Tuesday, you start on Wednesday. So I'm going to take like a Frayer, and I'm going to Frayer. 3 Frayers, end of the week done. Down here, I might do something like, let me think, things that rock. And I'll do a quick one today, a quick one tomorrow, a quick one Friday. So this is the kind of the schematic for the week. And as we go through the slides here, I'm going to take you guys through this whole thing. Our goals are to build a culture that is safe and open and kids actually know each other. And so we're going to teach our processes, which again is a nod to the Harry Wong thing, right? Process. But you know what? If you don't know the people, it doesn't matter how good your processes are. And that's one thing, and I'll reference Harry Wong again. His book is really good, except one problem. Sometimes it gives young teachers the idea that the processes and procedures are more important than the child. And I want to tell you, with 27 years in education, nothing is more important than your interaction with the child. In fact, when I went back to 6th grade 3 years ago, Jason, I don't know if I told you this story yet, but when I went back, I introduced myself to the 6th graders by telling them, I'm going to be at some of your weddings. They had a little bit of a freak out. They're like, well, I don't even have a girlfriend. I said, well, in 12, 15 years, there's a good chance a couple of you will email me and say, hey, I'm getting married. Will you come? How do I know this? Because I've done it. I've married 3 of you. I've been the minister 3 times. And I'm not a minister. Like, they made me go online and get my ministry so I could marry them. And I said, why'd you do that? And they said, you changed my life and I want you in the wedding. I told my 6th graders, I'm going to meet some of your kids. I'm going to come around the corner at Target in 14 years and you go, Corippo, look at my kids. That's going to happen. And I'm going to treat you guys all year with the respect of a person that I might want to be friends with for 20 years. That really freaked them out in a good way. So this culture building piece, I think, is really critical if you're going to be a leader of human children. And think about it. It'd be very natural for that relationship with your cheerleading coach or your football coach or your ag teacher. And yet sometimes in education, we give this idea of this is my personal time and people stay on that side. And I let kids know very early that we are going to be bound as learners for the rest of our lives if you want to access me. I'm also very careful, Barbara, to tell them that I'm not a creeper and I have plenty of friends. So, it's okay. If you don't call me ever, we're fine. Like, I'm not going to be sending you emails asking how you're doing. Just make myself available. The second big piece is we're going to learn how to learn. A lot of times we get stuck in the functionality of how to do the worksheet, which is not necessarily the same as how to learn. So we're going to start building some of those macro skills of connecting ideas, expressing ourselves, and then we're going to build a sense of belonging. My dad used to like to say this a lot. He said, there's no great orchestras. There's only great conductors. And I think what that quote means is 50 people are not going to organize themselves to be an orchestra that can play an opera. Somewhere along the line, somebody needs to say more of this, more of that. Everybody's coming together, nicely done. Somebody's got to work together and lead that group. And so for me, you know, when you've got an orchestra, you've got these very disparate types of instruments. Think of the violin, such a light touch. And then there's the guy on the kettle drum, boom, boom, boom. You've got to bring all those different modalities together with timing and rhythm and nuance. And that's what I'm aiming for as a teacher: timing, rhythm, and nuance. Okay, so the first thing, and again, Barbara, Elnora, you tell me if I'm crazy. A lot of times teachers will start off by telling stories about themselves so the kids have a context. Would you agree? And then sometimes the cool teachers will do it as a PowerPoint. Ooh, look, I've got visuals. So guess how I did it? I just dropped my kids right into a quiz. What are my favorite foods? What's my favorite band? What's my favorite food? What's my favorite? Where'd I go to college? And I literally dropped my kids right into quizzes. And this is what we call in EduProtocols the fast and the curious, because I give them no context. And here's a sample of the quiz if you want to click on that when I give you the slides. I let them play the game on me. Check this out, Elnora. After the first round, 9%. They did not do very good. But I said, no worries, you guys. And I gave them input on, like, how many people think that my favorite food is a salad? How many people think that my favorite food is musubi? How many people think that my favorite food is brisket? How many people think my favorite food is tomatoes and then cucumbers? Well, I'm going to give you a hint. It's not salad. It's not cucumbers. It's not tomatoes. But this one actually has 2 right answers. So when we do the end of the year test, be careful, because on CASP, they'll give you 2 right answers, right? So guess what? We play the game again, and now the kids are at 27%. And they're thinking to themselves, dude, we're getting better. Guess what we do the next day, Barbara? We play the quiz again. But the second day, we start at 34, and we end at 57. You see where this is going? The third day, we start at 65 and we end at 85. And I'm very clear to tell the kids, look how much you can learn about me and how fast. We're going to be using this same technique for science. We're going to be using this same technique for Latin roots. I'm getting buy-in. The kids are getting to know me. I'm getting to know them. Really, really effective. And again, this one's called the Fast and Curious. If you're new to protocols, we give the kids one quick rep. Any of your games that you like, Kahoot, Look It, Quizzes, GimKit, WordWall, I'm going to give the kids around 3 to 4 minutes, which is plenty. I'm going to coach them for about 1 minute. And then I'm going to go back in for about 3 to 4 minutes. So the whole sequence only takes about 7 to 8 minutes. And I can get 12, 15, 20 different like Latin roots or vocab words punched in. And here's a little twist of protocols. I'm going to watch the class average. And Elnora, would you agree? This is not normal teaching. Normal teaching would be Jason and Dre and Desiree got first, second, third. You guys are awesome. What happened to the other 27? Nothing. They're aware of that. So what we do in Fast and Curious is we watch the class average. And I do this. The class got an average of 50%. The class needs to get these 4 more right. So I'm playing down the some people are smart or fast or whatever. Now this one's just for you, Gloria. Gloria, in the chat, can you let me know, have you seen wordwall.net? Okay, so watch this, you guys. This is wordwall.net. Okay, watch this. Okay, first week of school, Gloria, would you agree that we need to learn our letter sounds? Would you agree with that one? Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
I can do this a bunch of different ways, but look at this right here. This is WordWall. And it's totally free, by the way, Gloria. And isn't fine motor skills a thing in kindergarten? It sure is. Well, let's see where that M goes. Right there for mouse. And where does the A go? Apple. And oh, I think that's orange juice. B for ball. So Gloria, you can play this on your interactive whiteboard by having each kid come up and drag a letter. So it's collaborative. And then when here's the best part, submit answers. I got orange juice wrong. It's not orange juice, it's J for juice. So watch this, Gloria. When you're done, you hit show answers and it'll show you what you got wrong. Oh, it's not orange juice, it's J for juice. And then you can play again. So now I'm gonna go like this. I remember you, orange juice. I'm putting you down there in J. And then M for mouse, and B for ball, and A for apple. How slick is that? And I've done this with TKs and they love it. So this is wordwall.net. And the way I use it is I make my little account, I scroll to the bottom and I go to community. And then I'm going to give you another one, Gloria. Watch this. I'm going to do vowels. Something every kid needs to know. But when we sit in a circle and draw popsicle sticks, it's not an equitable representation of what everybody knows. Would you agree with that? So with WordWall, I can put them on their iPad or their Chromebook, and they can do like this. Ooh, let's not do Hebrew though. I clicked the wrong one. That's probably too big a bite for a lot of Ks. Yeah, wordwall.net is great. Oh, here we go. Short E, short I, short O. This is money. This is money. And you can literally just put the kids in there. 10, 10, 10. Oh, yeah, there we go. Pen, pen, short I. Pin, I know pin. And the kids can go through and they can do the work happily all day long. You can also do things like this. Watch this. Number line. Again, number lines are important for number sense, right? But when you do it on paper, you don't get very much feedback. And I end up with a bunch of stuff to correct when I want to go to Target. So I can just go like this. Oh no, this one's harder now. Where does the 0 go? Well, let's put it over here and see what happens. Oh, the 0 can't go there because I have a -1. So -1, -2, -3. That means 0 goes here. You guys, you can build a lot of number sense with tools like this. WordWall has 58 million in there. Yeah, and you're right. For a station, it's great. I would do it whole group first, Denise, but here's the best part for a station. Ready? This is where it's cool. There's this button right here. I'm going to highlight it so you guys can see it. This button right here says what? My results. So watch what happens when I click on my results. Ready? I get accountability. That means everybody at the station is being held accountable for their work time. Here's one right here. And look at the data I get, Elnora. I know how many students played. I know their average. I know the top score. I can see who got what and how long it took. Look at poor Terrell and Ivan. They need a little help. So I'll put them at the kidney table with me tomorrow. I can sort by incorrect. It's really, really, really cool way to do this. But guess what I'm going to do like the first week of school? Watch this. This is the Smart Start. I'm going to type in Pokemon. Do you think kids will want to do this, Elnora? But what I'm teaching them is not an academic standard. I'm teaching them how to play the game. So that when we go to play this game on Monday, they're like, let's go. I don't know any of these. I literally know 0. So I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to guess that this one is Dragonite. It's just a guess. I have no idea. And then I know Pikachu. Okay, I do know Pikachu. So imagine doing this with your K1s, right? Ooh, I'm good right out of the gate. Well, guess what? If a kid comes up to me and says, I got them all right, I say, how fast? They're gamers. Well, hold on a sec here. Let's see if I can do it faster. Pikachu, good. Charmax Wizard, Dragonite, Lucario. I'm going to take that 20 seconds down to 9 seconds, 10 seconds. I just cut my time in half. Do you see how handy that can be for things like arrays and number lines? It's really, really cool. So that's wordwall.net, a low cognitive load way to teach kids how to learn. This is from a classroom. If you think this is just for little kids, you're wrong. This is from, I think, an 8th grade classroom. Look at this. Monday, 70%, Friday, 95, 25 points growth. This group started at 86. They were done with the test on Thursday, 95. This group started at 54, got themselves to 84. By the way, this is the first time Lauren has ever used it. Do you think she'll get better over 4 weeks? I do. So you're going to use Fast and Curious for class rules. If you think standing in front of the room and telling the kids the class rules is working, you should check your dashboard for behavior. How about giving kids the top 10 class rules to play in a Fast and Curious mode? You can do some very basic pre-tests, and you can also use this to even out gaps. And Gloria, I'm thinking of you in particular. You can actually run 2 of these in 2 windows. So you know how you can have 2 browser windows open? My friend in Laguna Beach taught me this. She does one window with the entry level skill, and the other window has expert level skill. She lets the experts play by themselves. She sits with the novices. As they get a 90%, she boots them out into the other game. That, my friends, is differentiation. And then on Wednesday, after they've played Monday and Tuesday with the teacher, the entry level game disappears and everybody's moved to expert level. So slick and really super duper easy. So those are some ways we might use Fast and Curious. Look at this here. If nothing else I've said gets your attention, this should. This is Ariana Hernandez, 2nd year teacher. She did a Fast and Curious. They did Get to Know Me and then Each Other. Look at the results here. This is the first repetition. Red equals missed answers. This is the 4th repetition. Why can't I get these results in math facts? Why can't I get these results in nouns and verbs? Why can't I get these results on digraphs? I can. I just have to use the tool correctly, and it goes like this. Quiz with no prep. Coach them on the most missed for about a minute, right back into the game. The scores will pop right up. It's crazy. I've done this literally hundreds of times with classes that don't even know me. So wrapping up on the Fast and Curious part, I would also suggest if you have a self-contaminated classroom, that's an old Harry Wong joke, I would try to use at least 3 of these the first week if I'm a self-contained classroom. I might do with my kindergartners a little Blooket, a little word wall, a little 99 math. My biggest advice of the day is quit making quizzes, search for them. They're already there. Word wall, check this out, Gloria. Word wall has 58 million self-correcting quizzes already made. When you look up something like digraph or vowel team, you're going to see 3,000 to 4,000 options. So quit making them, right? And then do use these for first instruction. Another small mistake I see with teachers, they say, these will be great for review. No, this is going to completely replace the worksheet. The worksheet doesn't happen anymore. We rep it out. And if kids need some more help, I can give them a link in Seesaw or Canva or Google Class where they can do some more reps independently. But I am never going to correct 60, 70, 80 worksheets a day. Never going to do that again. It's over. I will pause for some questions. How am I doing so far? Look at that. Everybody is so amazed. They just can't even think of anything. Desiree, good question. Is Fast and Curious always web-based? And here's what I'm going to tell you that's a fun story. Desiree, I invented Fast and Curious on paper in about 2001. I did it on my Latin Roots final. The problem was I went through a whole box of paper a week and I still ended up with stacks of papers. So I'm not saying you have to do Fast and Curious digitally, but what I'm telling you is immediate feedback and no grading. If you move to paper, there are ways to teach kids to self-grade, but my preference 99.95% of the time is not to do digital. I mean, not to do paper. If you don't have computers the first day, watch this. If you don't have computers for the first day or two, if that's why you're asking the question, does anybody remember Plickers? With Plickers, kids can hold up a piece of paper. This angle is A, this angle is B, this angle is C, and they can hold up a piece of paper and your phone scans it. And there's a lot of quizzes already made. But with Plickers, what happens is you just print out these papers and it's got a QR code. And then to get their scores, you hold up your phone and it scans them all. And look at that, sign up for a free account. Well, that's pretty cool. So if you want to do stuff like this, but you don't have devices for a couple of days, you can even still do Plickers for that. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my little planner. So remember I did the scribbles last time. Here's day one planned for you guys. Again, look how flexible it is. Elnora, Barbara, just scratch out Tuesday. All right, Fast and Curious, get to know me. Fast and Curious, get to know me. And then Friday, Fast and Curious, TBD. Maybe it's foods, maybe it's logos, maybe it's movies, maybe it's superheroes. All those quizzes already made. So boom, day one is planned. Okay, next thing. Let's see where we're going next. Okay, next, I gotta move my little mousey thing there. Okay, here's 3 solid ones I'm gonna give you that are amazing for academics, but they're also incredible for getting to know kids. And the first one is the Frayer model. Can anybody let me know if they've never seen a Frayer? So if nobody answers, I'll assume you've all seen a Frayer. And then back to Desiree's question, the Frayer is amazing on paper. You can totally do it on digital, like Google Slides, but amazing on paper. So I'm going to guess everybody has seen a Frayer. These are our kind of like recipe card heads up. You're going to take a key vocabulary or concept. You always should have 4 quadrants, 1 slide or piece of paper per kid. And then I think a key element to a Frayer is comparing. And if you'll recall on Marzano's top 10, comparing similarities and differences is the #1 biggest impact on standardized testing. I don't know the Hattie correlation, but I will bet you comparing is top 25 out of the 256 for sure. So look how fun this is though. Instead of just doing a get to know me poster, we're going to take the Frayer, which just to make sure, this is how I use a Frayer. I'm going to give my students a vocab term like right angle. Let's say I got 3rd, 4th, 5th graders. I'm going to give them a vocab term, right angle. I'm going to have them look up the definition. They have devices. I'm going to have them give me some characteristics. How do you know? I'm going to give them some examples, and I'm going to have them give me some non-examples. Much more effective than writing a sentence about right angles. So that's the way I'll deploy them academically. But the fun version looks like this. And again, you guys, you can totally do this on paper. In fact, I have an administrator friend who got forced into subbing one day. She printed out a generic Frayer and just told the kids, cross out what it says and write these. She literally just told the 5th graders, just cross whatever it says, cross that out. That's how agile these is. So describe your friend. What are some things about the person you just met? What's their dream pet? Now, my dream pet is a teacup American bison. I want a buffalo that I can that's this big, that I can drive around in my car with. 4 things they like. With teachers, top things teachers like, they like wine, they like chocolate, they like vacations, and they like beaches. Those are the top 4 that I get from teachers. Things they do not like: meetings, traffic, angry people, and what's the other one? The other most popular one. Oh, grading. So I'm going to have kids do this just like you said, Desiree. Totally works on paper. Not a problem. You can also do them digitally. And when I give you the slides, guess what? You can just copy this slide and you're ready to go. So this is really good from Ariana. I got called crazy by a student for having high expectations. She gave the kids a 4-minute time limit on their Frayer a friend. And look at what they did right here. They just took a picture of something they drew on paper. Totally fine. She said, got called crazy. 30 seconds before time was up, students said with excitement, I can't believe I created this. Is there any better thing to hear in a classroom than kids yelling stuff like that? Like, it's the absolute best. So it's awesome to see kids go through the struggle and come out on top. They are helping our students unlearn learned helplessness. A lot of the kids that are going to walk into your 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th grade classroom have what my friend calls the wounds of school. And we're going to have to defuse and salve some of those wounds. Here are follow-ups for your Frayers. You can do Frayer a band. Please don't do Nickelback. People get really mean about Nickelback, so don't do Nickelback. You can do favorite foods, and look what I included for you guys here. Here's a link to the Zombie Frayer edition. Watch this one. This one is Zombie Apocalypse. Who are the 3 people on your team? You have to sing karaoke. What song do you pick? What's your favorite magical or mythological animal? If you had to eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be? A great way for kids to be giggling and meeting each other and knowing each other. Super smooth. So there's a link there for the zombie edition. And then this is the one I was talking about, my friend Sheila. Watch this. This is the one where she literally did this. You can't see it on this picture, but oh yeah, it is right there. Look, she literally just had them cross out what was on a generic Frayer and just say, put this. And look at the drawing that they got. Look at that cute little cat. And I don't know what this is, but it's got like 9 arms. So that's the cool part about getting kids creating right off the get-go, smiling at their goofiness, learning their favorite bands and foods. Now, Desiree, how do I support students who need IEPs? I'm going to tell you a little secret right now. Most of the kids that won't do the classic worksheet have just figured out the game. When we start doing stuff like this, generally, I would say more than 50% of the time, the kid with the IEP gets super engaged with this because I'm going after their Minecraft part of their brain. I'm not going after the fill in the blanks part of their brain. You should see the manga kids light up when they realize there's a drawing element. They're like, ooh, I've been waiting 4 years to show off my manga drawing skills. Another quick example, Desiree. I've had at least 5, and this is going to sound weird at first, but bear with me. Last year, I had at least 5 SPED aides. These are the people that go to class all day with kids, okay? I've had at least 5 SPED aides weeping when I do my demo lesson. And Elnora's like, wow, that doesn't sound good, Jon. That's not cool. So I see them going like, and I walk over and I go, what's going on? Are you okay? Did I offend you? Do you need help? And you know what they said? I follow this guy around for 6 hours a day and he does nothing. And you got him working. How'd you do that? They feel left out because you got to remember all those kids with IEPs, almost all of them are kick butt Roblox players. They're kick butt Minecraft players. The only place they don't kick butt is worksheets. So when I don't give them worksheets, a new person emerges. Now, here's my empathy side though, because I'm super big on like Bob Ross and Mr. Rogers. If I have a kid that truly cannot do the work, they become my work buddy. The other kids are so engaged and the instructions are so obvious. I just go, hey, let's do this one together. And then I'm facilitating their success. So I'm not going to tell you it always works. What I'm going to tell you is it works a surprisingly large majority of the time. And Desiree, hopefully that makes sense. There are some kids that are just ED and that's who they are, right? Or oppositional disorder or whatever, or they have major processing disorders. I'm going to pair them up with an adult likely me. I'm going to get them across the river. Okay. But most of the time, these same kids will absolutely light up given the opportunity. And another thing too, just a fine point, Desiree, I'm also not about so fast that it's freaking people out, but I will tell you that most kids feel like class is too slow. So what I'm doing is I'm just finding that sweet spot. It's not about being frenetic. I don't want kids panicking, but I do want I want a finish line for them. If you tell an average high school student they've got a week to do the essay, Elnora, when are they going to do the essay? The last day.
Yeah, the
Guess
night
what?
before.
Yeah, guess what? Kids in India, Rome, Italy, Mexico City have all given me the same answer. So it's not an American problem. It's human. So what I do in my head is I tell the sophomores in my English class, hey, if I give you an essay that's due next Wednesday, when will you do it? And they're like, Tuesday night. And I go, how long will you really spend on it? Frankenstein and that crappy essay together. They're like, less than a half an hour. And I go just like this. Oh my gosh, we have 38 minutes left in class. Your essay's due at the end of class. And they're like, what? That's impossible. I go, you just told me you were only going to spend a half hour. So I'm giving you 38 minutes because what I'm trying to do is rewire their work clock, if that makes sense. And then I told the sophomores, I said, write hard for the next 30 minutes, and I'm going to give you an A for writing hard. I'm not going to grade your grammar. I'm not going to grade if it finishes. I just want you to sit there and just bang something out for half an hour. Put your headphones on. It's magical to see how that works after 8, 9, 10 reps. Okay, back to the planner. Here's my second element. If anybody is high school level, in high school, I'll pick like one that's about 10 or 15 minutes, and then I'll pick another that's about 10 or 15 minutes because usually I have a 45-minute class. This planner is lined up for like a K6 self-contained. So here's my second planner item. We're going to do Freyer, 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 Freyer. Barbara and Elnora, Kreisot Tuesday. We're not doing that. So we're going to Freyer a food, a band, and then on Friday, I might say, Freyer anything you want, but you got to have 3 things in each category because I'm establishing what a Freyer is. Next week, I can go like this. Hey, let's Freyer stone tools. Ready, go. And the kids know the Freyer schema at that point, which really speeds up their work. Now, here's another fun, super low prep, non-tech one. Things that rock. I simply ask the class a question. Okay, and I'll start off like this. Harry Styles, best artist ever. Can't stand him. And then the kids, what they do is they put themselves on a continuum. So here's a plus. If I love Harry Styles, I don't want to hear Harry Styles ever again. And if you're in the middle, you're like, I can take him or leave him. The goal for this is to get kids up and moving the first couple of days of class, but I'm getting to know them and they're getting to know each other. It may be that Elnora and Barbara have never talked to each other, even though they've gone to this school for 2 years. Tell me I'm wrong. And they might do this. You like Harry Styles? I like Harry Styles. Boom. Friend group. Or they might go, you hate Harry Styles? I also hate Harry Styles. New friend group. So I'm going to do things like Lord of the Rings. I'm going to do things like straight A's. I'm going to do things that get kids thinking about kids in different ways. And then I'm going to ask them to do this. I'll have about 2 or 3 kids share their reasoning. Why is Harry Styles so bad, y'all? Why is Harry Styles so great? Why do you not like him or hate him? So we're getting conversation. Think of it as a super easy to set up Socratic seminar. I think we all agree. Most people think a Socratic seminar is really cool. Why don't we do them more? It takes 45 minutes and I don't have any idea what we got done at the end. So think of this as a Socratic seminar where you can crank out 6 or 8 questions in under 10 minutes. And here's how you can do it on Pear Deck, but here's some example questions. Do you love dogs or cats? This one's going to get very messy, very messy. Different genres of music. Is hip hop the best or the worst? Different movies, Avengers, which is better, Avengers or DC? Ooh, could have some really hard feelings on that one. Do you want American football or European soccer? And then I'm going to plug in things that rock in my little planner here. I'm just going to do one on Friday only. And Barbara and Elnora, if you really want to do that, you can slide it in on the first day of school. It's about an 8 to 10 minute activity. So that's things that rock. Later, you can do things like this, though. Did the character in the story make a good or a bad decision, and why? Right? You can start making that really academic. Okay, another one that's a fan favorite is thin slides. Thin slides are really this simple. One word or phrase, one image, one slide, and we give the kids only 3 minutes. Remember, that's that snugness again. Now, Gloria, if you're kindergarten, I'll do these on paper. I'll just give the kids a paper and say, draw your favorite food. But I'm establishing a workflow that I'm going to build a base on. Elnora, let's say you teach 3rd grade, right? One slide, one picture, one word, favorite food. Well, it's a KWL, you guys. It's a KWL. Except I'm allowing kids to access the Google. Do you see the potential there? The problem with a regular KWL is my 4th graders don't know anything. So when I ask them questions, they're not very good. But with a thin slide, you basically, I'm going to skip that slide. My new favorite thing is asking my class to share a boring fact about themselves. This is viral from 5th grade up. Well, it's a boring fact. But again, one picture, one word. So in this case, one student puts both socks on before putting on shoes. Another eats a pound of turkey each day. I don't like mayo on sandwiches. What a great get to know you activity. Does that make sense? A boring fact. Go. I saw a hilarious TikTok from a guy that he asked his 4th graders, how do you know when a person's old? And the answers are hilarious. Hilarious. Now, Desiree, to your point, if they haven't done the technical work, I just say, tell me, go on. It's just, if they don't do the technical part, a no-fail situation. But what I'm then going to do is while the other kids are working, I'm going to go, hey, Barbara, do you know how to add pictures? Let me show you so you'll kick butt tomorrow. So I'm okay with that situation. I'm going to get them through. And maybe they said, oh, I hate Miracle Whip. Great. Good enough. Moving on. But tomorrow I'll go, Barbara, you know how to add pictures? Yes. Good. We're doing thin slides. So everything is contextualized like that, right? I'm in a no punishment classroom. There's a lot of repercussions. There's a lot of feedback. There's a lot of coaching. But when you get people in trouble the first 3 days of school, you're just going to have a kid that's going to be mad at you all year. So I'm going to do everything I can to avoid that. Look at this one right here. Now, this is an academic use. Today, I tried thin slides for teaching vocabulary. Look what this 4th teacher was teaching, xenophile. That's a pretty good bite for 4th grade, right? Imagine going hysterical and learning new vocabulary. They will never forget it. So that's the idea of thin slides. Later, I can do this. I'm going to show you guys a favorite little example of mine. Amen. If we do we end up teaching kids things like types of volcanoes? Yeah. So to your point, Desiree, I'll model this. Ready? I'm not going to type volcanoes. I'm going to type types of volcanoes. And then I'm going to click on images. And then I'm going to go, ooh, look at this one has 6 types. That's a bunch. All the kid needs to be able to do is go like this, copy, go back to the slides, hit paste. If a kid takes more than 3 minutes to do that, they get to sit with me a lot because I'm going to get them there. And then once they've got their volcano in, I say, once you've got your volcano, pick which one you want to learn about. Oh, I want to learn about dome volcanoes. So they can just use a little arrow here. Whoops, I grabbed the wrong tool. That's the wrong tool. Let's get rid of that tool. There we go, back to this tool. I'll just tell them to put one picture, one word, and then put an arrow by the one you want to learn about. Done. I actually have a friend who teaches high school. He walked in one day and told his high school kids, you get a minute and a half for your thin slide today. They started freaking out. He goes, you guys, one picture, one word. And then they did it and they were like, God, we're good. We're good. And then they came back to him the next day and they're like, let's try for just 1 minute. I think we can do it. That's where I want my kids, right? I don't want kids surviving the day. I want them to come back tomorrow and go, Crippo, I think we do 45 seconds. What do you think? And then to Desiree's point, if one kid takes an extra 10 seconds, who's winning? I'm still winning, even if they take an extra 10. So that's the idea of thin slides. You can do tons of vocab with this. It's also a great exit ticket. Imagine this, Barbara, at the end of your session. Give me 3 pictures of 3 words you learned this period. You get 4 minutes. Go. Exit ticket, just like that. Really, really slick. Okay, I'm going to pause again. Any questions, or are we still we're still doing okay? I must be some kind of super teacher. No questions. Okay, good. All right. Okay, let's see what we have here. Oh, a little bit more on thin slides. So in the Smart Start model with thin slides, what I could do is day 1, boring fact about you. Day 2, a food people should not eat, right? And here's why I say not eat. If you ask 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, I've been teaching more than a while, you guys. If you ask 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, what's your favorite food? You know what they're going to do? I don't like food. I can't do this. They're going to pie out some way. They're going to figure out a way to learn. So I go, tell me a food other people should not eat. They all light up. Oh, people should stop eating tuna. They go crazy. So that's a good one. Day 3, best cartoon character. Day 4, your favorite fast food. And then I didn't say this enough before, but I'll go back to the main slide. When we go to share, notice that we don't present. They're not going to go to the front of the room. They're not going to stand up. And I'm selfish about that. If I send them to the front of the room, it's going to take them at least 20 seconds to go each way. My goal with this activity is that the entire activity, start to finish, is less than 5 minutes. So I give kids 4 seconds. And that's really cool because if you got an introvert like Elnora, she's like, woo, only 3 seconds to go. And then if Barbara's talking too much, I go, Barbara, sorry, the timer's over. You're done. I'm going to keep it fair for everybody, Barbara. Barbara, I'm serious. 4 seconds for reals. No, 4. You're done. Okay, Andrea, go. The idea is 30 kids sharing their favorite type of irony. 30 kids sharing a type of volcano they want to learn about. 30 kids sharing one thing they know about cell division. The group learning is off the hook. So just wanted to provide clarity on that. Okay, so now let's go back to my little planner, and you're getting all the slides. Let's see, customize for Barbara and Elnora. Scratch. We're going to scratch Tuesday. So thin slide, favorite food, cartoon, favorite fast food. Boom. Planned. Good to go. What are we doing? Same thing as yesterday. Again, if I'm teaching at the high school level, I can use the same subjects, but on Monday, I can go, Carl Jung, go. It's their problem. It's their problem to solve. I just clean up the mess at the end. Okay, how many people agree that kids are horrible at presenting? Anybody? They have ugly slides. They stand in the front and then they read their slides. They say stuff like this. So, yeah. So I made this in about 2010 or 11. It's called The Worst Presentation Ever. And the idea, look at this from Christopher Miller, did the worst preza with 11th graders, got home from the gym tonight with multiple access requests from student friends. She's showing off her English assignment on Friday night. Who does that? That's buy-in right there, right? That's buy-in. She's like, you guys have to see my bad slides. I have a friend whose parent was emailing, I think I need to help Devin with his slide deck. It's really bad. And the teacher's like, that's the assignment. It's supposed to be bad. So normally we put kids in a room, and you guys tell me if you're old enough to remember this. This quarter, we're going to learn PowerPoint. A quarter? A quarter? No, I don't got time for that. So in Worst Prezzo Ever, we're going to try to get those tech skills going as fast as 2 periods. We're going to jumpstart presentation. We're going to build collaboration, and we're going to get kids thinking projects mean during class. I try to build projects that are done in an hour or less. That way, when you're doing one project in 3 weeks, my kids are doing 15 projects. Elnora, how's the math on that? Your kids do one project, mine do 15. How's that going to look by May? My kids are going to run your kids over, no offense. Because we got the reps. That's why any sports coach knows that. So the actual lesson is, and there's a link here, there's a YouTube video called Life After Death by PowerPoint, and there's the clean version, okay? And look at this slide. He basically tells us about 9 things that he hates in PowerPoints, but he does one thing at a time. This one's called bad color scheme. And it's clashing backgrounds and font colors can lead to distraction, confusion, headaches, nausea, vomiting, and loss of bladder control. So what I have the kids do is take notes on these various things one at a time, and they can do this on paper. Okay. And so this one is too many bullets. I think you guys can see that one. This one is bad chart or hard to read chart. And this one is too many animations. So I play the video. It's only about 8 minutes long. I play and I pause and I go, what's one of the bad slide ideas? Too many bullets. I play for about 40 seconds. What's another one? Bad charts. Now look how fast this is, you guys, with the Corippo mindset. Okay. The kids are like, where am I supposed to get a bad chart? I just go like this. Hey, let's check out Google. Bad chart. What? They're there. They are there. This is a horrible chart, you guys. That is not a good chart. So all they have to do is drop that one in and say, be mindful of using good charts, right? It's really quick. So, and it's not a heavy load. Then what happens is I think there's 8 things he says to not do. So what I tell the kids is you're going to make 5 slides, break any 5 rules you want. And you guys, this is very purposeful. Breaking all 8 rules is going to take a long time. So I cut it down to 5. That's 40% less rules approximately. But the other thing is I want different slides from different people. I don't want to see the same 8. I'm moving into executive function. Which 5 are the ones I want to break? There's a choice element. So I'll tell the kids, pick a theme like pets, make yours all about French bulldogs or bullies or chihuahuas. I had a girl actually come up to me that once. She goes, Corippo, what's this word? I go, chihuahua. She yells across the room at her friend. She goes, I told you it wasn't chihuahua. So funny. Pick a sport or a team, pick a food or a band, break 1 rule per slide, break 5 rules on 5 slides, and then you have to write the rule being broken on the slide. You can totally do this on PowerPoint, Keynote, Google Slides, doesn't matter. And then if you want to have fun, you have a student panel giving feedback. We're going to rate you a 7 out of 10 on horrible slides. We're going to rate you a 9 out of 10 on speaking skills. We're going to rate you a 6 out of 10 on overall creativity. It's really, really fun. And then here's the plot twist. Right when they go to present, I go, Elnora, you'll be doing Barbara's slides. Sight unseen. And what's cool about that, especially for teenagers, is Barbara's going to sit there the whole time and go, hey guys, these aren't my slides. Elnora made them. They're horrible. Elnora's like, you're darn right they're horrible. I made them. So for the middle-aged kids, the middle school kids, it makes it not a personal thing. And I'm going to tell you right now, the most laughing I've ever heard in a classroom was this. We're going to have a lot of fun stuff. I'm going to establish a good work tempo. I say, you got 7 minutes per slide, 35 slides, 35 minutes, let's go. And then I'm very clear. We're at minute 8. You should have 1 slide done. I'm walking the kids through it. And lots of 4 C's. I literally had a kid one time that presented this. It wasn't me, but a teacher friend of mine. He goes, look at my slide. And the kids are like, nothing's there. He had put the word small font in the corner at a 1-point size. He thought that was hilarious. They thought it was so funny that his teacher texted it to me. He's like, look at this. This kid is so proud of himself. He goes, look, bad font choice. And they're like, dude, it's blank. He goes, no, look up there in the corner. Too small. So those are the kind of things that kids come up with that are not scripted, right? And that if you just Google it, if you Google worst presentation ever, It's right there on YouTube. So I might do worst presentation ever. That might be, and then like, again, if I'm Elnora and Barbara, I'm just gonna slide that over to Thursday, Friday. I'm not sure I want to do worst preso the first day, right? I might want to do it the second day. But now my week is starting to fill in for me really nicely. If I'm a high school teacher, I might do 25 minutes to build your slides on day one, and I mean on day two, and then everybody gets a minute and a half to present on day three. If I have 30 kids, that's going to go pretty fast. Just a little thought here for you from the amazing Marilyn Adams. I don't know who she is, but I love this quote. If they can do the worksheet, they don't need it. If they can do the worksheet, they don't need it. And if they can't, it won't help them. Think about that for a second. So every time I give out a worksheet, it's the wrong answer. If everybody does the worksheet, they didn't need it. And if nobody does the worksheet, it's not going to get them there. So just remember that when you're doing your worksheets. Okay. We love 4 C's and protocols: collaboration, communication, critical thinking, creativity. And we do repetitions. What we do is we raise the level of difficulty over a time. The activity keeps going, but we'll do like in my early man unit, I might do an Iron Chef on stone tools, followed by an Iron Chef on Lewis Leakey, followed by an Iron Chef on the Fertile Crescent, followed by an Iron Chef on the AFAR Triangle. The work product is the same. All I'm changing is what they're doing it on. Okay, let's see what else we hear. Oh, Costa, this is now moving into the academic. Remember on my list here, I had academic protocols there at the bottom. So here's some academic ones: math reps, sketch and tell, little parts, and Iron Chef. And then I'm going to wrap this up and give you guys a little work time here. I'm going to try to, I've gotten like 97 slides to go, but I'm going to go way faster. So for academic things, you can do that first week. So the first one is math reps. And in a math rep, what we try to do is, and I'm just going to skip to the answer. We're going to give kids something like this. And today's number is 8. And I want kids to do 8 here, 8 here, 8 here, 8 here, 8 here, and 8 here. The idea is we're going to use this number 8. We're going to do it in multiple different ways. This is at mathreps.com. They're totally free. So that's what it looks like. I think this is mid first grade. And then when the kid does it, it looks like this. So if I'm teaching second grade, Elnora, I might give them this the first day. And if they rock it, I go, awesome. If they struggle, I know where the starting line is, right? I never tell kids this in math. I'm going to make a t-shirt. Don't tell kids we're reviewing. When they hear we're reviewing, you know what they hear, what they process? Oh, I don't need to pay attention for 3 weeks. That's not the goal of review. I start the battle right at the beginning. Now, as math reps move up, look at this. Now we've got, this is like a 3rd or 4th grade. Whoops, my pen messed up. Here we go. So now today's number is 23. What number do the last 2 digits create? Oh, that's a 5. List all the factors. List the 5 multiples, expanded form, word form, how many hundreds, how many tens, how many thousands, round it, and notice the number line's blank, Barbara. Make your own number line. And I love telling my kids this: your mama don't work here. Make your own number line. So you might want to put 0 here, and you might want to put 0 here. But once you do that, you've got to decide, what's this? If this is 30, that's fine. Where's 20? Is 20 in the middle? I don't think so. So there's a lot of good thinking going on in a very safe space. So this is math reps like in 3rd or 4th grade. Now I'm going to move it up a little bit. Add a multiply by 10, multiply by 100, add 10, add 100. You're getting a lot of number sense baked in a very little bit of time. Uh-oh, getting fancier. I made this one, and I'm not a math guy, but dig this. We're going to do 0.2 here, which, as you know, looks like this, right? And kids mess up 0.2 and 2. They mess that up. Tomorrow, I'm going to do this. Tomorrow, I'll do 20% instead of 0.2. So now they got to deal with, this is 20, not 2. So a lot of comparing, which number's bigger, all kinds of really fun stuff like that. So that's a math rep. By the way, It goes all the way up through algebra. And Barbara, look how many standards we're doing in one day, right? And if I'm teaching an algebra 1 class in high school and they can't do this the first day, we're going to do it the second day. Because if it's algebra 1, this is where we want to start, right? So really good stuff there. So I can plug those in as the math reps. And again, Barbara and Elnora, they're skipping Tuesday. And I'm just going to go 1 grade level low. So if I'm teaching 7th grade, I might give them a 6th grade 1, 2, 3. And I don't say review. We just get after it. And if they get a lot of A's, I'll make the 3rd day way harder. And then I'm going to find out where the wheels fall off my class. So a lot of testing. The next one I really want to share is Sketch and Tell, which is kind of like a thin slide, if you remember that one, except on this one, we may not use screenshots or JPEGs at all. You have to draw, and then you have to write. And back to the paper people, this is awesome for paper. If you don't have any tech the first day, watch how simple this can be. Draw your favorite dessert. Good. No problem. In Google, we'll use all of these cool shapes because this is all this is. It's a shape, duplicate, it's a shape, duplicate, and then let's do the cone here. Whoops, it's the wrong way. No problem. I can spin it. Again, on the time thing, I'm only going to give them 8 or 10 minutes max. This is not that hard. And then I can use my little paint bucket. This is not a skill thing. So I'm not looking for kids to make things that are accurate to scale. I'm looking for a model or a representation of it. And then what we usually do is this. The first step is have the kids draw something, whether it's digitally or on paper, and then have them explain it and then have them tell. So there's a hidden E here. Draw your favorite dessert, explain it to somebody, and then write down what you said. That makes it a pre-write. For people that are not super good at writing yet, it's good to just write down what you said. It gives them a little framework. You can use Sketch and Tell all the way from TK. I've done this on paper with TK. I just walk in and I go, draw your favorite food. And you know, those TK drawings are horrific, but they can tell me what they meant. So I just say, okay, TK people, draw your best pizza. I'm lucky if I get a triangle. And then I say, tell 2 people, why it's your favorite food? Because in a minute, I'm going to ask you. And they're all talking and talking and talking. And then I go, what's your favorite food? What's your favorite food? So with the TKs and the first graders, we just leave out the writing part. We just make it a sharing. Here's what a kid could do for like the water cycle. Look how academic this gets really fast. And then look at this one. This is 7th and 8th graders explaining Renaissance thinkers. And what I want to point out to you guys, and I think this is really big, these kids created these images in Google Slides. That's the little sun. That's the little clouds. They made the apple tree out of the cloud colored green. You guys, there's a ton of thinking going on here. Like they're solving visual problems. Look how they made this person with all the little ellipses. That's really cool. That's Petrarch. You guys can tell me about Petrarch, right? No, me either. He was apparently a famous Renaissance thinker. So this is Sketch and Tell, super easy, super academic. Here's another one that's a really neat adaptation. This teacher had, basically they took the boring questions out of the book. Where was he born? What kind of government did he want? How did he interpret the Constitution? Look at how this kid interpreted loose interpretation. Look how his drawing looks. Look at this one, says, not for slavery, but didn't believe in equality. So this is his drawing for not for slavery. This right here, that scribble, that's the West Indies. This kid looked up and drew a map of the West Indies. What's the ownership level on that, Barbara? Like that's massive. He is not going to forget this. Anytime somebody says Alexander Hamilton for the rest of his life, he's going to be like, boom, he owns it. So Sketch and Tell has a really big upside. And what's my prep? Piece of paper. It's, my funny part is people will say, hey, can you send me the template for Sketch and Tell? And I'm like, well, I write sketch and then I write tell. And then I tell kids what to do. So yeah, there's your template. And then I can plug in a couple of sketch and tells here. Now, in one model, I had things that rock here. No problem. I'm going to drop in sketch and tell instead. Here's a classic 8 parts and little parts. These two are like the original EduProtocol. And look at this one right here. I'm going to do this with the little parts. I'm going to give the kids an article, a noun, a verb, and an ending mark. And I'm going to give them a picture like this. And they're going to go A. I'll do this just exactly how I do it with the kids. A and the. And then a what? A boy. And the fruit. And what's the boy doing? He's eating. He's looking. I can have the kids copy this down with a document camera. And then I go, the 3 ending marks are this and this and this. And then I just tell them, circle your sentence. A boy eats. Question mark. And just like that, they're building sentences. It's a really fast model. And I've done this with, again, as low as first graders. Here's what it looks like with more parts. So we keep adding parts. We started off with just nouns and verbs. Whoops, there's adjectives. In a week or two, guess what I'm going to add? Yep, adverbs. And when I get to the full glory, it looks like this. And I'm going to blow your minds real quick. I know of 3rd grade teachers that have kids doing this by March. All 8 parts of speech and a paragraph by March. How happy are you right now if you're a 4th grade teacher? You are super duper happy. Because I know 7th and 8th graders that can't do this. But this is the idea of attacking it over a long period of time. And then I'll put up a picture like this. And it's funny when I show this picture to students, they're always like, you know what, Corippo, that's actually true. So it's pretty funny. And then I can just plug that guy in right here. So I can do some kind of parts Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay. And then Iron Chef, which the Iron Chef is basically just a good old jigsaw. If you guys remember jigsaw from your teacher days, from your pre-teacher days. Basically, you give kids a source of information. They gather some facts and an image. Each kid makes one slide. They get 10 minutes to build. And then they do a little secret ingredient, which is a thematic support to the main idea. So again, the first day we'll do something low key, but look what my friend Jamie Halsey did. She had her kids Iron Chef the way we're going to act at recess. So they're doing, how do I show respect at recess? How do I show respect in class? So again, this is the Smart Start piece. She's not lecturing them the rules. She's making them tell her the rules in fun, collaborative ways with memes and GIFs. And if you look really carefully on this picture, she's taught them class rules over a series of quizzes. I'm going to make this even better. Watch this. Here are the scores. Repetition 89, repetition 93, repetition 98. And then she moves them over to the Iron Chef. And if you read what she says here, students will choose the quiz-id method, choose the method over the lecture any day of the week. We started next in the series and should have it mastered in a few days. Then we will Iron Chef the thing. So she's going to give them about 3 or 4 days to learn all the different rules, and then they're going to Iron Chef them in their separate groups. And I have that original slide deck if you guys want to email me if that's interesting. So skip that. Look at this one. David says, how did it go? It was easily my best class of the year. They loved it. They enjoyed the secret ingredient, had excellent attendance and participation. I got feedback from them. They said it was so fun and they liked learning from each other. Plus it's super low prep because when they get good at it, I literally just go, and Alexander Hamilton, go. The prep time is nothing. So here's some ideas for your first Iron Chefs. You could do, what was your first technology? Was it a Leapster, an iPod, a flip phone? Share a picture of it with 3 facts. What's your next tech? Is it a PS5? What's your next thing? And then the next day you can do this. Do you think you want a Tesla or a muscle car? Share a picture and 3 reasons. And then the secret ingredient on this one is, what do you think your real first car might be? This is hilarious. I had one kid turn in an alpaca for their potential first car. I was like, I like your thinking there, but I think that's probably not going to happen. So this is kind of what they look like. Oh, and this is just another heartwarming one. One of my favorite things about Iron Chef is after tons of reps, my second graders start teaching each other slide tricks. That's spontaneous, you guys. They're teaching each other how to have slide tricks to up their design game. Oh my gosh, that is the cutest thing ever. So again, day one, it might be your first tech. Day two, it might be a muscle car. Here's what it looks like academic. You guys know what tardigrades are. So each kid gets one slide and they work in a group of 5. And if you'll notice, the only thing that's really changing is size, habitat, diet, and offspring. Everything the kids need is right here at this link. So I just click that guy and it opens right up. Everything they need is right here. That, by the way, that's a tardigrade. They're really gross, but kids love them. And here's all the little subjects. So all we're going to do is this. How big are tardigrades? There's everything you need, bro. That's everything you need. So I just go like this. And if mine is size, 1 fact, 2 fact, 3, picture. What's another weird animal you like? I'm going to go with teacup buffalo. I'm done. But I'm working in a group of 5. So I can slide in some Iron Chef as my second academic smart start. I probably won't do an Iron Chef the first day, K-12, because it takes a little more zhuzhin to get it done. And then look what Angela Zorn has done. She's a high school teacher in Georgia. You guys see these 4 different activities? Now it's October. She got all of that done in 1 class period. And guess what they're doing tomorrow? Same exact thing, different subject. So Barbara, what's her planning time? And how much explaining? You're just going to switch from missile crisis to Berlin Wall, prepped. Same thing as yesterday. It's bonkers how good it is. So let's see, I just got a last couple slides with you. That is called a rack and stack. And when you stick 3 or 4 protocols together to make a unit purposefully clung together, that's what we call rack and stack. But I don't want to overdo it on this session. I just want to give you guys like what the future is. Okay. So again, the smart start way, super low prep, immediate feedback. If you get kids that don't work, I'm going to call home day 1. And what I have found in the schools that I've worked at in my career is when I call home the first day and say, hey, all he had to do was draw a pet and do a quiz on Harry Styles and help make 1 slide with his team, and he didn't do anything. Mom, Dad, is that the norm? Is that an every year thing for him? 80% of the time, the mom is like, oh, no, heck no. That Xbox is going away tonight. I'm winning. Because that kid's on the bus in the morning going, people called my mom last night. I better get working. I'm sending out the message to the people that I'm on the case, right? If mom or dad does not answer, and some of you, Elnora, I think you've been around long enough like me, in loco parentis means I am the parent. It doesn't mean I can punish you like the parent. It means I am the parent. And Desiree, I hold this story off. When I came back to 6th grade 3 years ago, 4 teachers, when they met me for the first time, the first thing they said was, Jaden's an angel, but he won't do any work. That was the first thing they said. I'm like, oh, hi, I'm John. They went straight to Jaden, won't do any work. Guess who destroyed the entire class at Christmas? Jaden. Guess who went from 1st to 54th percentile in math? Jaden. Guess whose mom only talked to me at the IEP in March? Jaden. Guess whose mom worked in our cafeteria? Jaden. She literally worked in our cafeteria. I couldn't get a hold of her for the whole year. She would ditch me. So Jaden became my buddy. Jaden and I sat together. Jaden and I ate lunch together because I'm his daddy now. In a manner of speaking, right? My job is to get him across the finish line. And Jaden had a spectacular year. So again, don't try to put your God complex teacher hat on. Oh, I'll fix this guy by benching him until he complies. It's not gonna work. If you teach 6th grade, that guy's already gotten that treatment for 5 years. He knows all about that treatment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to approach him just like Pee Wee Herman might, or Bob Ross might, or Mr. Rogers. I'm going to demystify what the work is. I'm going to make it a safe place to be himself or herself. And I'm going to give them real-time feedback so that they want to play again. It's a really simple system. So call those parents the first day and say, hey, is this the deal? Now, here's a fun variation too, you guys. How many of us lose half of our class by Christmas? Like at Christmas, half of the people are like, where'd you guys come from? So you can actually do a smart reboot the couple of days coming back from your Christmas break. And here's Janelle. Smart reboot included 3 wishes. Going back to Smart Start after the break is amazing. You're right, Corippo. Best week back ever. Students are so fast from all the reps and they know exactly what to do. I'm going to do the same 3 days that I did for Smart Start for Smart Reboot after Christmas break. And let's say Elnora's new and Barbara's one of my hot shots. Guess what my power teams are going to be? Barbara, show Elnora everything. Let's go. By the 3rd day, man, they're up and running. So just think about that. So in the slides, I'm going to give you guys the slides right now. I've given you this. You've got this whole blank to fill in. And again, just paying attention to my users. Barbara and Elnora, you can delete the first column. Okay, you can ignore that. But look what I'm giving you guys. On this one, all they did is dropped in the little Freyr logo here. So I'm giving you guys all the little logos. By the way, we're getting to make, Barbara, we're going to make stickers out of all these. Magnetic stickers. My friend Maria, every time the kids learn a new protocol, she puts it on the list. It's like the table of contents for the class, right? She's like, hey, we learned little parts. I'm putting the sticker up. I really like that. So there's this way to do it. And then look at this. Here's the best thing ever. When you click on this one, look what opens. Here are all the links. Woo, doggy. Here are all the links for day 1, day 2, day 3. These are already made. Now, if you're looking at it, you're like, Corippo, that's a lot. I'm going to tell you right now, I can probably only do 3 a day. So this is like the whole encyclopedia. You might just do like this and be fine. So there's no expectation, A, that you do it for full 4 days or that you do every row. The point of this is we've got you loaded and ready to go for all modes. And here we go. If you're a teacher leader or work with other teachers, you can totally do this too. This looks like a boring slide. Wrong. When I hit zoom out, look what I did for you. It's a little drag and drop planner. So I can go like this, fast and curious. Let's do that on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Let's do things that rock here. Let's do worst presentation there. Let's do sketch and tell. We'll do it there, there, there. Look how easy it is to plan with protocols. It's that easy. So I'm giving you guys that on slide 107. And if you want to, you can do like a make and take with your folks. Like if you want to use this for a PD, what you can do is click on this one and have your folks just drop in a screenshot of what they made, right? So literally say, I'm going to give you 15 minutes to plan your week, your first week, and plan it out. Take a screenshot of it and drop it in this so that everybody can see what we're doing. That way we can share. Because I might go, Elnora, I never thought about that. You could do this and this and that and that. I didn't think of that. Us together is always smarter than anybody by themselves. And so here is the link to your slides, and I'll put it in the chat too. And then I'm going to pause the recording right now.